Children used to run and play. Look at all the mess we made. Guess I never know where it went wrong. Sometimes I feel like all that's said, 'cause viral then people forget. In this crazy world I don't belong. I see fire burning but I close my eyes.
I'd rather deny that.
Everything is falling out of place. I see trees ripped from the ground but nobody makes a sound. I see fire burning but I'm fine. I am nobody. Future feels so unsure. Didn't we deserve more? The burden that you left is way too heavy for me. Do you ever feel like the world would die out? My anxiety's off the roof, I cry out. We have gone too far, take me back right now. I see fire burning but I close my eyes.
I'd rather deny that.
Everything is falling out of place. I see trees ripped from the ground but nobody makes a sound. I see fire burning but I'm fine. I am nobody. Children used to run and play. Look at all the mess we made. Guess I never know where it went wrong. Sometimes I feel like all that's said, 'cause viral then people forget. In this crazy world I don't belong. I see fire burning but I close my eyes.
I'd rather deny that.
Everything is falling out of place. I see trees ripped from the ground but nobody makes a sound. I see fire burning but I'm fine. I am nobody. Future feels so unsure. Didn't we deserve more? The burden that you left is way too heavy for me.
Hello and welcome to the first Metaverse podcast, hosted here in the Psychokitties studio. Hope everyone has had a wonderful start to their week and appreciate everyone for tuning in. My name is Meg, and I'll be your host for today. Special guest with us today. First, we'll run through some brief updates with the Psychokitty and Mad Hair Society projects. We have an exciting in real life event taking place at the end of this month on July 29th and July 30th. The Psychokitties and Mad Hair Society have sponsored and secured a booth at the 2022 Summer Dew Tour, located in Des Moines, Iowa. Dew Tour is a creative contest series that will feature world famous pro skateboarders and will also consist of a 2-day festival with activities appropriate for all ages. You can expect to see top tier athletes that competed in the Olympic Games to be attending and competing in the skate competitions. The Psychokitty and Mad Hair team are thrilled to have secured a booth and provided an in real life event for the community to enjoy. There will be giveaways at the event, including stickers and apparel, as well as a raffle. You can look for more details on this event and giveaways to come. In addition to this event, that Genius and Uganzo have been working diligently breeding for their 2 projects. This is the first time a CDC project will be incorporating a breeding mechanism between male and female assets. Breeding will take place in August and will require a male of your choice from either the Psychokitty or Mad Hair Society collection, combined with a female from the Psycho Molly collection. The dynamic duo that you decide on will need a love potion, which will be purchased on the CDC platform with a timeline of 1 full week to breed. The potion will be priced at $40 per potion, and breeding will occur on the Psychokitties website. Can't wait to see what pairs the community comes up with and how unique these babies will be. Be on the lookout for Discord announcements and the bi-weekly AMAs with Genius and Uganzo on the Twitter Spaces for more information. The Psychokitty and Mad Hair Society have also signed a social media marketing agency and hired them to help push the PK and PM even further. The Psychokitty and Mad Hair team are thrilled to have secured a booth and provided an in real life event for the community to enjoy. There will be giveaways at the event, including stickers and apparel, as well as a raffle. You can look for more details on this event and giveaways to come. In addition to this event, that Genius and Uganzo have been working diligently breeding for their 2 projects. This is the first time a CDC project will be incorporating a breeding mechanism between male and female assets. Breeding will take place in August and will require a male of your choice from either the Psychokitty or Mad Hair Society collection, combined with a female from the Psycho Molly collection. The dynamic duo that you decide on will need a love potion, which will be purchased on the CDC platform with a timeline of 1 full week to breed. The potion will be priced at $40 per potion, and breeding will occur on the Psychokitties website. Can't wait to see what pairs the community comes up with and how unique these babies will be. Be on the lookout for Discord announcements and the bi-weekly AMAs with Genius and Uganzo on the Twitter Spaces for more information. The Psychokitty and Mad Hair Society have also signed a social media marketing agency and hired them to help push the PK and PM even further. They will be helping with social media managing and getting more information out to the community, allowing other team members to focus on their current positions. I would like to introduce our special guest appearing on the podcast today. We have Brady Nagel with us today, who's the Senior Social Media Program Manager at CoinTelegraph. He's going to be sharing and informing us a little bit about their upcoming project, To the Moon with Balenciaga.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan. I'm so excited to be on here. Psychokitties is such a sweet community. The collection is awesome too. The artwork I've always admired, and it's absolutely one to look at as a leader for the CDC community. So honestly, just so excited to be here. So excited to be talking with you and getting engaged with your wonderful community. And I'm also really excited to start talking about this drop coming up, Cristobal Balenciaga to the moon. So a lot of exciting stuff to get into. Again, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We're so excited to get into this project. It's very exciting that we are starting to bridge and collide NFTs with fashion. I know you have a presentation prepared already, and we can start to get into that now.
Awesome. Let's do it. And I actually really like how you started that out. That's a perfect segue into this presentation, in particular, the first slide. You mentioned, Megan, how it's really interesting to see NFTs, Web3 in general, colliding with fashion. And, being a part of this industry for some time, you can never count anything out. That's for sure, right? We've seen NFTs and Web3 being applied to so many different facets, but fashion, that's a very interesting one. And it's one that myself and the rest of the team definitely believe and see just unbelievable potential in a future for it. So, we're here to talk about the Cristobal Balenciaga to the Moon NFT collection. So I think it would just be appropriate to start to just give a little backstory to it. Uh, Cristobal Balenciaga is a world-renowned artist and fashion designer. For those who don't know, he started the brand that we may have heard of before called Balenciaga. But we actually could get even a bit more granular as we talk about this collection in its relation to the Balenciaga brand, and in particular, Cristobal Balenciaga. So back in the 1950s, we're going way back. In the 1950s, Cristobal Balenciaga in Paris during the height of the haute couture movement created this truly inspirational, unique, never before seen style in fashion. He was designing dress wear with these very different contours, these very different shapes, these very different designs just in general. And it are those designs specifically that have inspired the artwork for this collection. On top of that, though, it inspired a lot of the themes and the mission for this collection. Cristobal Balenciaga in the 1950s, when he was designing this dress wear, he was designing things like the cocoon coat, he was designing things like the sack dress, these things that were revolutionary in fashion and continue to be the baby doll dress. These were designs and dresses that were very different than what you would normally see in the 1950s, especially in fashion, and in particular for women. Most of the clothing at the time was a bit more entrapped. It was a bit more non-freeing for the person wearing it. And Cristobal Balenciaga saw exactly the opposite. He saw a world and a space where women could be and should be independent, functional, capable of doing whatever they would want to while still being, let's say, fashionable and in these beautiful artistically designed dresses. So that's what he set out to do. He wanted to empower women. He wanted to, you know, create a larger inclusivity within this world of what people should be doing or can be doing, and what you're wearing shouldn't stop you from doing that. And that's what he set out to do, which was just astounding. And we're going to get into it more, but those are some of the values and the missions that actually have translated into this NFT collection, and a lot how it relates to Web3. Another really key component as it relates to the inspiration for the artwork for these NFTs goes back to these drawings. So in the 50s, Cristobal Balenciaga drew over 8,000, the number is about 8,300 drawings of these dresses, of this new design. These drawings have never before been seen. We see them in the actuality of it, the physical, but these drawings themselves, which is priceless works of art from one of the greatest artists of all time, never before seen, we are using those drawings as the inspiration for the artwork for the NFTs, which is honestly just such a cool thing. I mean, you take artwork from the 1950s that honestly inspired a whole generation of artists and designers, fashion wearers, and now we see it 70 plus years later as NFTs that are going to live on chain forever. So it's such an incredible story, and I'm excited to get more into the partnerships and relationships that Cointelegraph has created to, use these drawings as our fuel to creating these astounding, beautiful NFTs. You could see here that we have, direct correlation to what these drawings of the dresses represented. You could see the different shapes, the contours. Another thing you'll notice on top of the dresses, which are unbelievable and look so cool, especially as NFTs, are the backgrounds. You have a bunch of different gradients, different composition, the colors, the different contours and whatnot that honestly just all come together and make for a beautiful piece of digital art. And like I said, what's honestly one of the coolest parts, inspired by art from the 1950s, still lives on today. So it's honestly so exciting. I get excited just talking about it, and I can't wait to get into more of this.
Absolutely. I love the last part of that first slide on how it says that Balenciaga took fashion and women to the moon. And it correlates perfectly with the NFTs here. And you can see the moon and the vibrant colors in the background, these shapes, because Cristobal Balenciaga really created new shapes that had never seen before, changing the whole entire silhouette and the view of women.
Wonderfully said. Yeah, that's a very important point there. That it was a new silhouette for women. These were women that were once wearing clothing that couldn't allow them to do their daily tasks or things that they would want to do any person without feeling entrapped, without having a sense of not enough functionality or whatnot. There did not need to be this compromise of wanting to wear dresses like these and feel beautiful in whatever someone is wearing and also be functional, also be independent. So it was absolutely a new age for fashion. And as you mentioned and said very beautifully, Megan, a new silhouette for women.
I love it. It is very inspiring. It's incredibly empowering for women as well. I love the colors and the vibrance of it all.
Totally. They just pop right off the page, don't they? And what's so cool is, we're looking at such a small sample size of this. The collection is 10,000 large. So you can only imagine the different combinations and just, overall composite images that we'll be able to see in this collection when it's minted.
Absolutely. This sneak peek is astonishing as is. I cannot wait to see the rest of the collection.
Yeah, so getting into a little bit of the logistics here for the drop, we just touched on how it's a 10K drop. There's 10,000 NFTs for the entire collection. This is a generative drop. So when we're talking about NFT value infrastructure, you don't know what you're going to mint. That's an incredible surprise that we love about Web3. We love about NFTs. It's going to get even a bit more interesting as it relates to this particular drop once we start talking about the redeemables and post drop incentives. But as a whole, you're looking at a generative drop. There's a number of different traits for each composite NFT, all making together for one beautiful image, which is, I just can't get enough of it, honestly. So we're super excited about being able to see all of these come to life, which is just going to be an incredible thing. But as maybe some of you have experienced before, perhaps with Psychokitties, it'll be generative, it'll be unique. Each one will be randomly generated in that sense, and that's what you'll be minting.
I love that the mint is going to start with a mystery box. It adds so much more suspension into what you're going to receive. I love the incorporation of that as well.
Totally, totally.
Let's talk a little bit about building community. You mentioned a lot about the Psycho Kitty community, and I think community is one of the biggest aspects of a successful project.
I could not agree more, Megan. I mean, we're gonna get even more to this as we're talking about more of the logistics and whatnot, but it's important to know that for this drop, we are building a community here. We're trying to build something that we really see as unlimited potential when it comes to the short term and the long term. We are looking way further down the road, and the only way you get there and the only way you really do it successfully is by, creating a strong community of people, not just there because they have to be there, but there because they want to be there. They want to be a part of this. They're around like-minded people. They're around people with different ideas and different aspirations and different knowledge. So as it comes specifically to the community, that the main breeding ground, you could say, is going to be within the Animal Concerts Discord. And we're going to get a little bit more into who Animal Concerts is, but I'll briefly describe they're a wonderful partner for this project. They are a very cool Web3 company, working alongside CoinTelegraph to produce and create these astounding NFT collections, NFT drops. They are also working to create their own metaverse ecosystem. So there are just, an unlimited potential as we see it, as what we could do with this collection, what we could do with the community in general. And as I mentioned, the main grounds for the community will be in the Animal Concerts Discord. Within there, there's going to be a lot of exciting things going on there. So, on top of doing things like different Discord AMAs, different things that would be going on Twitter as well as through YouTube, and bringing it back to the community, being able to get feedback and ask questions when we're doing different events and whatnot, or different AMAs. It's all a part of providing value to holders, providing value to people who are part of the community, and some other stuff that we'll get into later in the podcast here, later in the presentation, that I'll touch on, that'll revolve around being in the community and being a holder. But overall, there's a lot of exciting things that are going to be going on in the Animal Concerts Discord, a lot of things specific to being there. So we are really excited to be, or like you said, talking with the Psychokitties community here. It's such a wonderful one, such a strong one, tight knit. You're in it and you feel like you're home, even if it's your first day there. So that's exactly what we're creating over in the Animal Concerts Discord. And the Cristobal Balenciaga to the Moon NFT collection is honestly just the start of building this enormous, strongly knit, tight knit community. So really exciting stuff, and that'll be the breeding ground for it.
One of my favorite things that I touch on frequently is how much I appreciate the diversity of people all around the world being able to be within these communities. And I think we really have to appreciate the diversity here with this project, because it's not only collabing fashion interests, but it's also collabing NFT interests as well. So I think it'll bring even more diversity into this project.
That's such a wonderful point, Megan. And one thing that I actually didn't touch on there is that Animal Concerts, in particular, does a lot of work in the music industry. So if anyone is a fan of music, if you're a fan of A-list artists and celebrities that are within the music scene, Animal Concerts is a wonderful place, not only to discuss those types of things, but maybe get involved in some of those things coming up. So, just like you said, Megan, it's bringing people not only from all over the world, which is something so cool in the Animal Concerts Discord, even with other uh, language chats and whatnot, but bringing in people with all these different interests. So it's really becoming such a beautiful breeding ground for art, for Web3, people who are a bit more into crypto. It's really turning into something so exciting to be a part of. So really excited to just continue to see it grow. It's amazing.
Absolutely. We see a lot of artists in the NFT world, from designers to artists, as well as, producers and things like that. So it is awesome to be able to see that. And hopefully we can experience that a little more in the Discord.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, it's a wonderful breeding ground. So really excited to see what it's done so far and where it's going to go.
Let's get into a little bit of the post drop incentives.
Absolutely. Let's do that. So, there's so much that's going into this drop. I mentioned one thing earlier as providing value to holders. That's obviously a very big thing for us. We want to be able to do that. We want people to, build within this community because they want to be there. We also want to be able to provide that value back for being in it. So one of the big ways is going to be through some of these post-drop incentives. So there's a number of things that are going to be offered to any holder that holds a Cristobal Balenciaga To The Moon NFT. And I can run through a few of those now. You're going to be looking at a free Animal Concerts Metaverse concert ticket. I'm sure we have some Metaverse fans here in the Psychokitties community, being on the first Metaverse podcast, which is so cool, by the way. So, holders of this NFT collection will get a free Metaverse concert ticket within the Animal Concerts ecosystem. They're looking to host their first Metaverse concert come Q1 of 2023. So, truthfully, right around the corner, especially as it relates to Web3, it couldn't come any sooner, right? Everything moves so quick. So very exciting things ahead for that. Some other things too that will be coming in for holders are things like access to future Animal Concerts NFT drops, having preferential access, I should say, to allow lists, whitelist opportunities within those drops. Also, people who are holders of this To The Moon NFT will also be put on the allow list, whitelist for all future Balenciaga NFT collections as this project continues to grow and there's more things involved. So that's a really exciting thing that we're excited to provide to holders. Another thing that I was touching on and being a part of the community and being there are some things we're going to be doing exclusively, some things within the Discord to holders and whatnot, things like giveaways that can include allow list, whitelist spots to other drops that Animal Concerts CoinTelegraph is collaborating on, things like concert tickets as well, passes to fashion shows, also token giveaways, which we're really excited about too. If anyone's not familiar, Animal Concerts does have a native token called Animal, ANML, and you could find that on multiple wallets and exchanges to trade. So holders of the Cristobal Balenciaga NFT will be put into runnings, into random giveaways just because you're a holder to potentially receive free Animal. So who doesn't like that, right?
Of course. And with the To The Moon drop being the first Balenciaga drop that we will be seeing, it's exciting to know that Balenciaga will also be having future drops to come.
Definitely, yeah. So, I touched on it a bit earlier that the drawings that Cristobal Balenciaga did in the 1950s, the originals, there are 8,300 of those, roughly 8,300. So, there is a lot to work with there. You can imagine so much inspiration. So, we're going to continue to work to build out this project. And, as the opportunities approach down the line, we want to explore that and we want to get the holders of the first collection some value within that too. Right now we're focusing on what's in front of us, of course, but we can't help but look down the line as well. So lots of exciting stuff in the works. But for now, super excited, of course, about this drop, Cristobal Balenciaga To The Moon.
Absolutely. There's a lot of incentives. There's a lot of perks that's coming with this drop. It's very exciting. I'm excited to see everything that comes with it. Now, there are a lot of partners within this drop as well. Do you want to touch on some of the partners for the To The Moon drop?
Yeah, definitely. So, like you mentioned, there are a lot of partners in this, but it's honestly really cool because each one kind of fits like in a different puzzle piece, all coming together to create this just unbelievable drop with all these different incentives and backing. So to start, myself coming from CoinTelegraph is a partner in this drop. We worked to actually create the artwork, rolling out the promotion as well, the concepts, the strategy, the roadmaps, and whatnot. So playing a big part in that, and as it relates to the art generation as well. Animal Concerts, another player in the drop, as I briefly mentioned before. They are a metaverse company, particularly within the music space, but overall in the arts space as it relates to Web3 and how it can be applied to the metaverse, which is such a cool and exciting, just up and up space that the potential just seems unlimited. There's also art consulting. So art consulting has curated public and private art collections all across the world. And art consulting is actually the connection to those 8,300 drawings that we've been touching about, the originals. And as we get into more of the questions later on, I could dive a bit more into that story because it is so interesting to hear how that came to be. There's also Artvane, another very cool partner and company within this. They work with clients, they work with museums, they help authenticate, register, and create art on chain. So, as you can tell, very, very fitting for this collection, of course. And then obviously we have crypto.com, the NFT marketplace that these NFTs will be minted and secondary market be sold on as well. And I'm sure we're all familiar with crypto.com NFT, obviously a powerhouse when it comes to marketplace, when it comes to housing unbelievable communities like Psychokitties. And then there's also the company Defy Trends, which is just such an incredible company. They are a women-led, women-founded uh, cryptocurrency education, blockchain education, investing strategy company and platform. So it's just a wonderful mission from Defy Trends, how it just so perfectly relates to this collection, how it relates to our whole mission and value within it as well. One thing I'll note too is that there's actually going to be a sizable donation to Defy Trends from this collection, which we could not be happier about, to contribute to their mission, bringing more women into Web3, bringing more minorities into Web3. So overall, as you can see, it hits each point, just bringing in everything to make this drop as great as it can be.
Absolutely. With Cristobal Balenciaga being such an iconic designer and really empowering women, I love that your mission correlates so perfectly with that and the donations that you guys have planned as well. It's a real beautiful fit. It's really inspiring as well.
Could not agree more. It fits perfect, just as you mentioned. It's they're all these partners are a wonderful group of people that are so passionate about what they're doing. And honestly, I think that's what's making for this collection to be even that much better. No one has to be doing this. We all want to be doing this. You know, we're working with world renowned art. We're working with unbelievably talented and experienced curation houses and people who have experience working with fine art, putting it on chain, ones that have the experience and outlook into the metaverse, artwork generation, and then overall a beautiful mission of bringing more women and minorities into Web3, which, as mentioned previously, inclusivity is such a major theme for this drop.
And you guys touch on that so well. The inclusivity in this project, all of the different partners and collaborations that you guys have to really make this project something amazing, to the moon exactly with this project.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. You hit it right there, Megan. Completely agree.
We can talk a little bit about the launch that's going to be happening if you want to go into a little bit of the timeline that we'll be able to see from the start to the end of this project.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think we can run through this. I think that's important. So, to kind of briefly go through, there's not an enormous amount to put here, but we have gone through, a stretch of the pre-launch. We did some giveaways, which we will be getting into a bit later in this podcast as well. But we've also been putting out some really exciting, cool sneak peeks of the artwork. We've been talking a bit more about the partners. We've done a number of Twitter spaces, YouTube, AMAs, Discord events too. So, really going back to building that community, informing people out there just in the Web3 community in general on what we're doing and why we are truly so in love with it and why we're so excited about this collection. We have the launch coming up. So we're also going to be getting into that as well later on in this podcast, talking about some of the logistics on that end. And then we will transition into the post launch. So, one thing that we like to say is that honestly, the launch is really more like the beginning. The pre-launch is so important. Of course, we really want to be able to educate people. We want to be able to start to foster that community. once we launch it, could not be further from the truth that it's over, though. That's truly such a tremendous start to what we're doing. So the post launch is going to be full of so many exciting things for such a long period of time, talking about, different integrations within the metaverse, talking about just more events, more redeemables, post drop incentives. So many things to be going on there. Very excited for it.
There are a lot of exciting things to come in the future with this project and the launch. I just want to express my gratitude. This is such a beautiful and informative presentation, Brady, and I really appreciate you coming on here to share all this information with us.
It is so my pleasure. I honestly really appreciate being here, speaking to you all, and going side by side with you, Megan. I feel honored. Honestly, Psychokitties, like I've been mentioning, it's just such a great community, and it's not easy to come by ones like that in Web3 that are so true, so authentic, so strong. So could not be happier to be here right now and be able to dish out with all of you about this exciting drop and just talk about, honestly, again, really exciting things that crypto.com is doing too. So happy to be here. Thanks again for having me on.
Absolutely. And we are so excited to share our community with yours as well. We're excited to bridge into your community as well. I think a lot of people from the community are going to be very excited about this drop and spread that out to others as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing more than we would like than be able to bridge with the Psycho Kitties community. Just like I said, so exemplary of what our NFT collection wants to get to. So could not be happier with that.
I know you've hinted on some giveaways and some exciting things to come for the future, but we do have a giveaway that we will be doing live in the podcast today. We had a tweet that was posted by Animal Concerts where we picked 20 winners through a Twitter picker. And now we will be drawing 4 winners from those 20 Twitter handles.
Oh boy.
And the 4 winners will get an exclusive NFT from the To the Moon collection. We'll get that spinner going here in a minute. So again, we will have 4 winners. Looks like the first winner is D-Rod. Congratulations.
Congrats. Very suspenseful here. This is great. I'm on the edge of my seat.
And the second winner is Taxi79.
Congrats.
Congratulations, Taxis. And for our third winner, we have Blunts L. Congratulations. And last, but absolutely not least, we have our fourth winner. Who go to the moon. How perfect
Love
is
it.
that Twitter handle?
Perfect. That was
Congratulations to
awesome.
the Congratulations to the 4 winners. You will be receiving an exclusive NFT from the To the Moon drop.
Love it. Wonderful. That was very exciting. Really cool.
And we want to thank you, Brady, and the Balenciaga team as well for allowing us to do this giveaway. It's very exciting to be able to give people in the community exclusive drops to a project that has not yet even been released.
Absolutely. Could not be happier to do it. Seriously. Just so fun to be a part of this.
Well, again, Brady, just want to thank you so much for being on here. And I know we shared a ton of information here in this Metaverse podcast. So I want to take a little bit of time to kind of summarize and go over a few finalizing questions.
Let's do it. Sounds great.
Now, I know you hinted on this a little bit, Brady, but I feel like this is so important to the project. And I want you to touch a little bit more on how the art was inspired for this collection.
Yes, I would love to. There's a really cool story to honestly go with that. So, as we mentioned previously, we've been talking about these 8,300 drawings by Cristobal Balenciaga from the 1950s in the height of the haute couture movement in Paris. Now, those drawings were actually uh, handed off to a really incredible person who's very important to this collection named Lorenzo Riva. Lorenzo Riva was actually the artistic director for Balenciaga, the brand, during the 1980s. He received these never before seen drawings um, from Cristobal Balenciaga, and they became his, and they were under his ownership. So that's where they stood there. He was such a huge component to the brand, to the vision of Balenciaga. Over the course of time, it just supposedly became fitting that he was the holder of these really important pieces of art and pieces of fashion history. Now, connecting the dots here, uh, Cointelegraph, where I'm coming from representing, collaborated with Lorenzo Riva and Art Consulting. So, as I touched on earlier, Art Consulting is a fine art house that helps curate different collections publicly, privately, from collectors all around the world. Art Consulting is working with Lorenzo Riva. CoinTelegraph came in and collaborated with them both. And that's actually where we were able to see, at least virtually, these drawings and be able to start create the inspiration for the actual art or the NFTs. And to get a little sneak peek of one of these original drawings, which is just so cool to look at, honestly, is we have some teaser videos that have gone out on social media. You can find it on the Cointelegraph Instagram. You can find it on our Twitter page, as well as the Animal Concerts Twitter page, where we have some teaser videos that show a quick little clip of, in a way, a transformation from an original drawing to the NFT digital art, which is really cool to see how that formulates. And it's also really cool to see how closely it resembles it. Of course, you're looking at a different medium. One is an original drawing from pencil, and the other is a digital piece of art. But the details, the contours, the shapes, it's all there. The history is completely brought along 70 years later, which is over 70 years later, which is truly astounding. So it's been such an interesting and just unique journey working with Art Consulting, working with Lorenzo Riva, and being able to, see where all this inspiration came from. It's remarkable.
It really is remarkable. And the fact that these drawings are 70-year-old drawings that have never been seen before are now being put into an NFT collection is amazing in itself.
Completely agree. I mean, it's so unique in that sense too, because one of the things that I think is really opening the door in NFTs, of course, we see so much with one artists, which I am such a huge fan of. But this reinvigoration of fine art, of historical art, inspiring NFTs that are going to live on chain forever. I think this is just the start of it. We're looking at a world renowned artist, a world renowned fashion designer, his pieces that may have never seen the light of day. We may have never been able to really appreciate them, and now we can in such a unique way. And in an even more realistic way, which we'll get into here just shortly.
I think it's so fitting that Cristobal Balenciaga was known for shaping fashion and really pioneered that in the 1950s. And I feel like this NFT project that Balenciaga has also started is going to pioneer more collaborations with fashion and NFTs.
Completely agree. It's truly an igniter in so many different senses, and we could not be happier to be a part of it. It's honestly having to pinch myself every time thinking that these are the pieces of art we're working with, the stakeholders that are involved, also the community, the people that are in the Discord, the people are on Twitter who are showing their appreciation, their excitement to be not only just holding one of these NFTs, but just to be within this community. It's amazing, truly amazing.
It really is amazing. And I know you mentioned some of the stakeholders that are involved. Would you like to touch a little bit about the stakeholders that are involved in this collection?
Yeah, definitely. So we touched on it a little bit, but I'll kind of recap it in a way, kind of break it down again. We have Animal Concerts, who is a metaverse company working a lot within the music space. So there's so much integration we could do there within Animal Concerts, and that we're looking into, not just about a post-drop incentive like getting a free metaverse concert ticket, but other virtual plays with these digital pieces of Web3 fashion. We briefly just talked about there about art consulting, the curation house that worked with Lorenzo Riva, the holder of these 8,300 drawings of Cristobal Balenciaga's haute couture movement inspiration from the 1950s. He was the artistic director for Balenciaga in the 1980s. And then another couple partners that we've just kind of touched on the way, Art Vein, a really interesting marriage of fine art, on-chain NFTs, just all of that together, the curation process, really just a great fit within this puzzle. And then talking about, the backbone of this in a sense being crypto.com, being the marketplace, an introduction into a wonderful community of NFT holders and NFT projects. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, we have DeFi Trends, who is the women-led, women-founded cryptocurrency Web3 blockchain education and strategy company that's real mission is to bring more people into Web3, but in particular, they want to empower women and bring more women into Web3. They want to bring more minorities into Web3. It is all of these groups are backed by just incredible people who are so passionate about what they're doing. It all just adds to this glorious flame that we're building together. So it's truly remarkable.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Brady. I appreciate you running through those stakeholders again. I know there's a lot of people involved, and you guys have such a beautiful mission behind it with all the inclusivity. And so I appreciate you running through that with us again and just summarizing that.
Absolutely. Always my pleasure to dish on these wonderful partners.
With this being such a unique project, it's essential to really appreciate the artwork that we'll be seeing in this collection. We touched a lot about the redeemables and post drop incentives, and I think it's essential to also summarize on those just a little bit.
Absolutely. Happy to do that. Yeah, because we talked about the post drop incentive. So just to kind of recap that again, we're talking about free metaverse concert ticket within the Animal Concerts ecosystem within the metaverse that they're building. We're talking about exclusive giveaways to NFT holders, whether that be tickets to concerts, fashion shows, animal token giveaways, which if people don't remember, animal is the native token for animal concerts. Um, Really just like amazing stuff that's going to be put back to holders, not to mention allow list, whitelist spots for the future Balenciaga NFT projects that would be coming about in addition to preferential access and insight into other allow list, whitelist opportunities that Animal Concerts is working on outside of Balenciaga. So truthfully, it's providing so much value in so many different senses for all holders. Now, there are some very, very special redeemables that are going to be going out to select holders if you're part of the lucky bunch. So I'll start with for the hyper rares, that being a rarity level based on the different traits we touched on before. This is a generative drop. So people who mint these are actually going to have a chance at getting Balenciaga bags and Balenciaga wallets. Obviously, fully authentic, 100% Balenciaga gear, just for minting your $100 NFT. You may be in the running for a designer bag or a designer wallet. So we're going to be handing out quite a few of those to people within that rarity category. Another redeemable bucket that is just unbelievable. I truly cannot express how exciting this redeemable is I'll start with the first one being within the ultra rare category. So these are going to be the rarest of the rare NFTs. And as you may remember, this is going to be randomly minted. So, you could be that person for that $100 who could be receiving on one end a $500 e-gift card to a designer brand store or brand itself. So really exciting there. So if you had one of these ultra rares, you're basically put into the running. We're going to be dishing out quite a few of those as well. That's a $500 e-gift card, which just sounds like a whole lot of fun. Now, to get to the juiciest redeemable that I think there is, and one that wants me to buy so many of these NFTs just for a chance to get one, is receiving an original drawing from Cristobal Balenciaga. We're talking about receiving a never before seen drawing from the 1950s by Cristobal Balenciaga. I mean, I am no art curator. I don't price art or anything like that. I'm an art lover. But when you think about never before seen drawings by a world renowned fashion designer and artist, Balenciaga, to me, that is priceless. So if you happen to mint an ultra rare Cristobal Balenciaga to the Moon NFT, you will be put into the running to potentially receive an original drawing by Cristobal Balenciaga. One of these drawings that may have inspired the NFT that you're holding. So just an unbelievable redeemable, something that I don't see any other way that you'd be able to acquire something as significant, as historical as this. So truly, we really believe that these NFTs are a part of NFT history, Web3 fashion history, and we're constantly looking to blend that with the in real life utility. So not only are you going to be a holder of Web3 fashion history and NFT history, you could potentially be a holder of just art history in general from one of the greatest artists of all time, one of the greatest fashion designers, innovators, inspirators. So just an incredible thing that we're able to offer. Could not be more excited about the people who are going to be receiving those original drawings. Just going to be the coolest thing.
That is so exciting. I know we've talked a ton about inclusivity, but the fact that purchasing one of these $100 NFTs from the To the Moon collection can possibly put you in the running to get an original drawing is truly priceless. And on top of that, even being able to receive designer bags or wallets or gift cards, these are incredible redeemables, almost something that we've never seen before.
Beautifully said, and it's exactly what we're going for because this this is the Web3 face. This is space. This is virtual. Things are digital, which of course we are all about and love. But we also see the value of bringing some in real life utility and some in real life incentives and redeemables there. We don't see any problem with there being a wonderful marriage of the two, and that's what we're looking to accomplish here. And we think we're going to be providing so much value within that. So could not be happier with what we're going to be able to provide to the community.
Truthfully, this project giving so much to the community. I couldn't imagine anybody not wanting to be a part of this. I am extremely excited. I know you
Likewise,
talked
Megan.
I know you talked quite a bit about rarity levels. Do you know how can you describe to us what the different rarity levels will be and how many of the NFT collection will be in each level?
Sure. So, off the bat, we're going to have, being a generative drop, there's going to be the standard, of course. We're going to have the standard rarity levels. It could be different based on the different traits you have. They are uniquely created. So, you don't know what you're going to get. You're going to mint one and you'll see what happens. When it comes to the other rarity levels, we'll be looking at the ultra rare, which are going to be a batch of one of one NFTs in the sense. Now, of course, these are generally generative collections. They're all unique. The difference with the ultra rares are that the traits you find in those you won't find in the rest of the collection. So that's what makes them even more rare. A really exciting thing and something so cool that we're excited to, provide to holders, to people who are minting, anyone on secondary, just a very cool aspect of that. And then going off of that, there will be the hyper rare class that would be getting the first batch redeemables that we discussed, which were the designer bags and the designer wallets. Again, these are going to be rare configurations of the NFTs, and you will be able to know what rarity level you have on the crypto.com marketplace.
Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of that alpha. I'm very excited to see all the different rarity levels that is to come with this collection. You want to touch on, I know we've mentioned a little bit about the minting process. I would like to touch on some of the specific questions geared towards minting.
Definitely. So, as we've been discussing here, where is this going to be minted? You can mint your Cristobal Balenciaga to the Moon NFT on the crypto.com NFT marketplace, which is a wonderful interface. Love being on there, not only purchasing NFTs, but viewing them too. Just it's a lot of fun. I could get stuck on the site for far too long. So we'll be minting on there. Very excited about that. And as we've also discussed before, the price of each NFT is $100.
Beautiful. So we have a price of 100 US dollars, and we know it'll be on the CDC platform. And can you remind us again when the mint date will be?
Absolutely. So we will be minting on July 21st. And if you were lucky enough before it closed up, you would have been able to get on the allow list whitelist spot for minting. Now, if you're a listener out there and you are one of these people on the allow list whitelist, what you'll be able to do is actually enter the drop before the public and you'll be able to start minting then. And that'll be the private window, if you will, prior to the public comes in.
We've shared a ton of information here in the podcast. Let's talk a little bit about where people can find more information and also get a synopsis of everything that we've talked about here.
Absolutely. So there's a few different places, a lot of good touch points for anyone to get a really good idea about this collection. So for one, there is the drop page on crypto.com NFT marketplace. That would be the Cristobal Balenciaga to the Moon drop page. You're going to see info on the redeemables. You're going to see some info on the backstory. You're going to see a teaser video there that I mentioned before where you get some sneak peeks of the art and of an original drawing. So a lot of great information is there. There's also going to be links to the different social media accounts that are good touch points for getting an idea of any announcements or any info on the drop. And just to give a little info on those too, feel free to follow CoinTelegraph on Instagram at CoinTelegraph or on Twitter at CoinTelegraph. Also Animal Concerts at Animal Concerts, both on Instagram and Twitter. Another point that is a great spot to learn more about the drop, as we mentioned previously, the Animal Concerts Discord. So, of course, this is the home for the community. A lot of information and all of the announcements will always be running through the Discord. So absolutely a great place to be to stay on top of everything for this drop. On top of that, we also have a few different press release articles that have gone out that CoinTelegraph has written. It's been incredible writing them. It honestly feels like we keep writing more and more because there's so much to talk about with this drop. So you can definitely check those out via the CoinTelegraph website, cointelegraph.com. We go into so many different things about this project, whether it be the inspiration for the artwork with the backstory, the partners, the values and the mission. And, kind of touching back on that just a little bit, we mentioned earlier that it's $100 for minting an NFT. And as we did touch on earlier as well, inclusivity is a big part of this collection. It's something that Cristobal Balenciaga saw and that inspired him to create these designs that the NFTs resemble. It's something that he wanted to empower women with and ultimately expand daily functionality and independence to anyone, making it more inclusive. So that's something that hits very home with all the partners involved in this project. And it's something that we are exemplifying within it as well. Now, that happens in a couple different ways. One, for example, partnering with Defy Trends, the women-led organization that works exactly to do that. They bring more women into Web3. They bring more minorities in. They're supplying educational resources. So important. Another part that really contributes to the inclusiveness as we see it is the $100 price point. This could not be further from anything of a price gouge project or anything within that manner. We thought $100 was a great entry point for whether you are a newcomer into NFTs or you're a veteran, whether you've minted several projects off of crypto.com, or this would be your first. We thought this was a really good entry spot, like I said, and it's something that we want to be able to bring in as many people as possible.
I think it is definitely a very accessible entry point. I appreciate you sharing all this information with everybody listening, Brady. I do want to say thank you again for all of your time here. Thank you so much, Brady, for being on the podcast with us today and sharing all the information and important alpha about the To the Moon drop with Balenciaga. We hope everybody has enjoyed listening to the podcast today. The Psychokitty and Mad Hair community are so excited for this drop and release. And again, you can find this on the CDC platform, July 21st.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on, Megan. Honestly, it was such a pleasure talking with you. We're going to have to do this again sometime because it was wonderful. But really just enjoyed being able to talk with you, talk about the drop, talk about the backstory, how we're going to bring the value back to the holders, all the logistics. As you mentioned, July 21st on crypto.com NFT Marketplace. That's the place you want to be that day so you can mint your Cristobal Balenciaga To the Moon NFT. So again, truly, thank you so much for having me on. So excited to be collaborating with the Psychokitties community and being able to be on the podcast here. So it was wonderful. We're definitely going to have to do it again sometime. Can't wait for the next one.
It was such a pleasure to have you. We can't wait for the next one as well, and we will definitely be doing this again, maybe post-drop as well.
That sounds great.
We want to wish everyone a great day all around the world, and thank everybody again for tuning in. Keep being awesome, keep being psycho, and thanks for taking a trip to the moon with Balenciaga team.
Children used to run and play. Look at all the mess we made. Guess I never know where it went wrong. Sometimes I feel like all that's said, 'cause viral then people forget. In this crazy world I don't belong. see